Stuart, it's Wendy. My question is around just asking you to talk about the distinction, the discernment between the chattering voice and, inner directive, like God's voice, in contrast to like just mind chatter.
Well, that should be not a difficult thing to distinguish. I mean, the voice of God or higher energy as it works inside us will always give us an answer that will help us to build a spiritual life. It'll help us to get over obstacles that interfere with the spiritual life. It'll help us to move in that direction. Sometimes the answers aren't quite what we want them to be, but they're always spontaneous and they're always, they come through intuition very often. And they're answers that truly make it possible for us to grow. Chit-chat and just that, kind of rubbish that runs around in the mind, it's just tension. It's a lack of discipline. It's the inability to focus in the third chakra that allows the mind to just yak and yak and yak. And it's always, the answers you get in the mind, I mean, they work 1 second and then, 10 minutes later, you need a different kind of an answer. So, it's something that, that is easily distinguishable. I mean, I know that every time a higher energy gives me an answer, it takes me to another place in my life. Whether it's something external or something internal. It allows me to go to a completely different place in my life. And the chit chat in the brain, I certainly have gotten enough discipline at this point not to really listen to it. To me, it's like birds singing in the trees. When I get real answers, they're always through intuition, they're always spontaneous. It's the kind of thing that we often poo-poo, and oh my God, I got to analyze it and figure it out. And often that is the real answer that we don't need to figure out. We need to take it in as energy and use it to transform ourselves. So there's a very big difference between tension and guidance from higher energy in the universe. Tension comes out of something that is disconnected inside each and every one of us. That higher guidance comes from a voice that's so deep inside that it literally, when you listen to it, transforms your life. At least that's how it works for me. I mean, even, when I talk about Rudy telling me, buy that building, I had $600. I mean, it was really God talking to me, telling me, Stuart, you got to stop being afraid of money. You have to learn how, to use your energy to be more successful in life. And it changed my life. And I've had hundreds, thousands of these things in my life that come so spontaneously. And they're the real answer to what I need to take the next step in my life. And you learn how to listen to that. And you learn how to stop listening to your tension, or at least allow the tension to be a reminder that you have deeper work to do on yourself, so that that doesn't muck up your day, control you, So there's a real difference. One gets you to God and the other one gets you to the grave. problem in the world is just about everybody spends all their time listening to that, you know, that mind stuff. And the voice of God, the voice of spirit, the voice that voice of inspiration often gets buried in the tension, and the tension is not, something we can't listen to because it's telling us we need to do deeper work on ourselves. We need to get more grounded, more open, more have a greater capacity, to receive that spontaneous voice that comes from the universe that is real guidance about how we should live our lives. I hope that's clear because it really is an important thing.
Stuart, on what you're talking about, you're saying, is it clear? You're not talking about really words coming to us. It's more of a feeling.
It could be a feeling, it could be words, it could be, but you have to be evolved enough to be able to really listen to it. Look, I've written a dozen books in my life. Every book came to me that way. I'm finishing up a book right now, and it's short stories. Every one of those stories came to me that way. And I'm reading through this book and going, holy shit, this is really good stuff. I don't even remember writing these things. They just came through me. You know, three-quarters of the business deals I made when I was running an art business, it was spontaneous. It was having built the capacity to do that and allowing the energy to guide my life. So it could be a feeling, it could be words, it could be a lot of stuff. So somebody, what's his name, wrote that book, The Thousand, Faces of God or The Thousand Masks of God. And it's true. I remember I was sitting in Rudy's gallery one day, this beggar woman came in. And she was one of these street people, and he went up to her and he was so kind to her and good to her. And when she left, he said, Stuart, you never know when God is going to show up in your presence. All of that is a higher voice talking. And if a person is conscious, you listen. You listen to life. It teaches you. You trust. You don't have to control everything because it's impossible to control everything anyway. And that's another big problem people have. They have to control everything. They want to encapsulate everything in some kind of box that they control, And that's very dangerous because it really puts yourself in a prison. Just trusting allows that spontaneity to work for you. I hope it's clear what I'm talking about. because, you know, it requires a certain kind of inner strength combined with innocence to do what I'm talking about. Trust, trusting life, trusting God, trusting yourself, that you can take action and do things. And everything that you do will teach you something about what you need to grow and get closer to your, you know, to your spiritual enlightenment. So instead of making it happen, we let it happen. We allow ourselves to be used by a higher force and allow that higher force to manifest in our lives. Does anyone else have a question? And you know, if you do that, it's much easier on oneself. You know, you don't have to push your way through. You know, you build that system that allows that energy to take you to a higher place in your life. Now, the work is not easy because it's not easy because we have to get, as I always say, to the other side of ourselves. That's the hard part. That's really the hard part. It's not life. Life is constantly teaching us. It's this thing in us that refuses to get past ourselves. That's the most difficult part. And we settle into us. We get conditioned to live in certain ways that don't allow us to ever live an inspired life, to live a creative life, to be connected to spirit that way. It's really, you know, I always say it, and I think it's true. The answers are very simple. People, when they try to get from point A to point B, they really complicate it. But it's very simple, the answers. On the other side of all of us is a spiritual life. And we're born here to learn how to get to the other side of us. Does anyone else have a question you would like to ask? Okay. If there are no more questions, then there'll be class on Sunday. Everybody have a nice weekend and enjoy the summer. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all on Sunday. God bless you all for being here, for asking your wonderful questions, Wendy. I mean, they bring so much out that is so extraordinary, you know? And bless you, thank you. And I, in all humility, I very grateful to be sitting here and doing this and sitting here and truly learning from all of you what I have to do to continue this growth inside myself. So bless you, thank you. And I will see everybody on Sunday.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome. Good night.
Thank you.
Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart. Good night.